Hey everyone. Please support what I do to help keep Greyhawk alive by subscribing to the channel. Also, please consider becoming a channel member to get early access to videos, exclusive live chats, quarterly adventure modules, and more. Thanks, and enjoy the show. So, I haven't really focused at all on one of my favorite aspects of the world of Greyhawk, and that is the gods. And that's what we're going to do today on Greyhawk Lockdown. So I thought I'd kick off a new series here on the channel, looking at some of the gods and goddesses and demigods and all that good stuff in the world of Greyhawk. And I'm going to start with one of my favorites from way back in Dragon magazine, and that is Ehlonna of the Forest. Um, Ehlonna has always been one of my favorites. I don't know why. There's three different woodland type deities that are listed in the guide. We've got Beori, Ehlonna, and Obadhai, the Shalm. And the latter two kind of seem to have a rivalry going on. But Ehlonna has always been one of my favorites, and I just thought I'd delve into her lore vis-a-vis the setting real quick. So Ehlonna started off was originally mentioned the in Dragon number 68. Uh, well, technically before then, but it was just a name. But she was first detailed in Dragon 68, and then uh, that information was pretty much carried over verbatim into the guide, into the gold box. So that's what I'm going to use right off the bat to go through her. First of all, she is a lesser deity, and in the days of the guide, there were just greater gods, lesser gods, and demigods, with one intermediate god in the middle there. We'll get to that in a second. But in the original Guide to the World of Greyhawk, um, she's the goddess of she's neutral good, forests, flowers, animals, meadows, fertility, um, patroness of all good folk, elven, human, or otherwise, who dwell in woodland and love such surroundings. She is in favor of those who hunt, fish, and otherwise gain their livelihood from the forest. So she's worshipped by rangers, foresters, trappers, hunters, woodcutters, etc. More females than males serve alone. That keeps changing as they keep going. Um, she can either be a human or an elf. She's got chestnut or black hair. It goes on about various things. She's got a bow, which always hits its target. She has arrows of slaying for various types of woodland creatures, presumably so that if she hunts them, they won't suffer when they're struck. She's got a long sword and a dagger. The long sword is +4 and or +6, and it's a defender. Um, uh, she can make elves and demi-humans pretty much do what they brownies, elves, gnomes, and halflings. She will almost always get them to do what she asks them to do, and her worship is centered around Saline and the Wild Coast. So yeah, right around here. So that makes sense given that Saline and the Ulic states are all demi-human states, and she's very favorable towards demi-humans. Um, so that's what we have in the guide. The glossography also, which comes with the gold box, gives us a little more meat. That's its purpose, obviously. It has all the rules to go with the lore of that's in the guide. I'm not going to go through all of it, obviously, but here we go. Clerics of Ehlonna are able to track as if they were rangers, equal to the level. So a third level cleric of Ehlonna is a third level ranger. Um, they get at fifth level, they get animal friendship as a spell in addition to their regular spells, and all these abilities costs 5% of earned XP. So, in order to be a cleric of Ehlonna, you lose 5% of your XP to make up for the fact that you're getting these specialty powers, which is how specialty clerics worked, because not all deities had these specialty clerics with special abilities when this was first introduced. But this introduces the concept of that, and I love that concept because I like it when different clerics have of different deities have different abilities and powers, because it really makes them feel more realistic. Everybody isn't exactly the same in terms of what weapons can you use and powers and spells and all that good stuff. Um, so she's a very prototypical woodland goddess, which makes a lot of sense. Now when we get to From the Ashes, which is the next box set that was released, she's a little bit different. uh, um, Okay. Ellona's priests are fine woodsmen with males and females equally represented and regarded within loose hierarchies. So right there, we see a bit of a difference in the gold box. It was there were more females than males. Here, they are equal in number, um, and you get tracking proficiency and hide in woodland as a ranger. So clerics of Ehlonna turn undead as if they were a cleric 3 levels below, so they're not as good against undead. So here we see a little bit of a difference. There it was just tracking and the spell. Here they get tracking and hide in woodlands, and there's a bit of an adjustment to turning undead. This is when they really embrace the specialty cleric concept, and a lot of different all the different deities had this sort of thing. So that's a neat thing. Now, also, if we look at the cards, there's a couple differences here too, because uh, clerics of Ehlonna have a new spell, Stall, which is a second level cleric spell. Basically, it makes whoever is affected by the spell invisible in rural surroundings and silent. So including masking its sense. So it basically allows the whoever's touched by the spell, by the spellcaster, to sneak up on things that are being hunted and so forth, which is kind of an interesting thing. Now, another difference that happened in the From the Ashes box set was the number of intermediate deities exploded because before there was just the one. Now there's a whole bunch of them, and the number of greater deities has shrunk a lot. But now Ehlonna, has been moved up to the ranks of intermediate deities, and this matters because not only because it means that her clerics can learn higher level spells, but also because she herself has different powers. Because lesser deities had a set of powers, and greater deities had a set of powers, and now she's moved up, so she actually can do more herself, or as they did in this version, her avatar can do more. And they did cover her in some other stuff, but it was mostly based on this. And um, one of the big changes that we see in the Living Greyhawk Gazetteer, they kind of go off the rails a little bit when it comes to her, is that they change it now so that all of her priests are females rather than males, which is kind of inverts the whole idea that first there's a few more women, then they're equal, then there's only women. It's just kind of an inconsistency that I find difficult to resolve within the lore of the setting. Now, in terms of using Ehlonna in adventures and such, the fact that she is geographically centered around here makes it pretty easy to incorporate her and her priests into adventures that are on the Wild Coast, in the Crown Hills. So Temple of Elemental Evil, they could get involved there. They're said to really dislike humanoids and evil creatures that intrude into woodlands. So you have that whole dynamic of monsters from the Pomarge who are coming up through the forest here into the good woodlands. So you can have a lot of adventures of raiding parties and setting traps and so forth for invading humanoids and monsters that are coming up there. You can have a lot of fun with adventures like that if you want something that's more combat heavy. You could even turn that into a skirmish game, or even a bigger scale warfare if you wanted to. Um, but that's a natural for clerics of Ehlonna and those who are around her. Um, because she's a little more geographically centered than some of the other deities that we see, it's not impossible that she could have worshippers up here or in the Vesve or wherever. Um, but you want to be able to explain it. Maybe there's a colony of Alona worshippers that made their way from Selene or whatever, or you could just ignore the geographical thing that's in the lore and just say clerics are everywhere. So it's certainly possible to do that. Um, but I love the idea that maybe some of her clerics go on a mission to get support from clerics of one of the elven deities in another forest, woodland, or maybe they're going off to on an embassy to a temple of Obad High to try to combine their forces against some big evil or something. There's a lot of ways you can play these rivalries and interplays with other deities. I especially like the idea that she has strong relationships with the elven deities that you can kind of play off of and incorporate into the game. Um, so there's definitely opportunities for using Ehlonna as as a foil in your games. So anyway, hope you like this little deep dive into Ehlonna of the Forest. Again, one of my favorite deities, and if you can get that copy of Dragon 68. Which Star Trek the next? I'm sorry, which Doctor Who companion does she look like? Uh, let's tell me what you think in the comments. That'll also be in the thumbnail for this video. So anyway, hope you like this one. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. Let me know what you think of the this series in the comments. Do you want me to keep going with some other deities? Kind of walk through how they change over the course of the setting, and go into some ideas for how to use them. I'd love to get your input. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will talk to y'all later.
Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.